Opioid use disorder is not a character flaw, it's a true mental health disorder. So reducing harm is what we do first to make sure they're alive to get that treatment, which takes years.
I remember times when I was using that I would cry because I didn't want to use, I wanted to stop, and I couldn't because it was right there in front of me. And it was like a mental war.
In 2018, approximately 4,400 Canadians lost their lives to apparent opioid-related overdose. The first step to address this crisis is to humanize drug addiction, to remove blame from the addict, and strengthen our collaborative public health response towards saving lives.
My name is Stephanie Bertrand. I'm from Windsor, Ontario. I'm a mom of 4. I work with people in addiction as an outreach worker and a peer engagement coordinator. I would want society to know that this addiction is it's not a moral deficiency. There's actually chemistry that changes in your brain. Your thought processes change and drugs become like food, water, our basic needs. So when you see somebody that's ignoring their children or just not caring about something, it's not that they don't care, it's that they truly just don't have that capacity right now.
Mark Barnes, owner and pharmacist with Respect RX Pharmacies in Eastern Ontario, is on a mission toward humanizing drug addiction, reducing harm in the prescribing of opiates, and ultimately saving lives.
We're in partnership with Recovery Care. It's an addiction treatment center locally here in Ottawa, and I'm here, I guess, mainly because I'm a passionate advocate for both harm reduction, but also the proper treatment of people with addiction.
From cities to suburbs, Canadians from all walks of life and from all across our country are reeling in the hopelessness and loss of their loved ones.
For me, it's all consuming. It's kind of as an addiction specialist, it's what I do all day, every day. You know, in 2018, 4,400 people lost their lives to an opiate overdose, whether it be accidental or intentional.
Mark's passion for this issue was born from personal experience.
It kind of started back in 2012, and I certainly owned a community pharmacy here in Ottawa, and I dispensed a fentanyl patch to a dying cancer patient. That dying cancer patient in turn had an addiction history and sold that patch to a 19-year-old in our community who overdosed and died.
People feel opioid-related overdose is an issue just for those addicted, that they or their loved ones are not at risk. In fact, this crisis impacts seniors, teenagers, essentially each and every home where opioids are present.
So really, every opioid prescription is at risk of an overdose. And on the face of addictions, it's completely changing from, I think, the perspective of media and the general population. Everybody's at risk. If you take an opioid, if you have an opioid in your home, you're at risk. You're at risk of overuse, you're at risk of misuse.
In Canada, Narcan nasal spray is available upon consultation with a pharmacist, free of charge, and is being used to save lives. It is indicated for emergency use to reverse known or suspected opioid overdose. As a nasal spray, it can be administered by a bystander, non-healthcare professional, before emergency medical assistance becomes available, but is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical care.
To me, Narcan allows me to provide an actual tool to prevent overdose. And then with that tool and that advocacy around it, I can get to so many more communities about spreading the word about addiction, about why people use opioids really, what's really behind the face of addiction. And Narcan, to me, is an absolute lifesaver. It's needed. Until a person gets well and they're using opioids to turn off their brain because of whatever trauma they've seen, the Narcan just keeps them alive, right? Especially with the potent opioids, until we can get them fixed. Narcan as the EpiPen, except it's no longer an injection, it's a nasal spray for opioids. If an EpiPen was free, everyone would have one. Well, more people are going to die of an opioid overdose and a peanut allergy this year, I can guarantee you. So why isn't everybody having a Narcan kit? They're free.
I love seeing that we have a second chance now, and that's huge in this world now, because I mean, we have so many people dying of overdose every day that if even 2 of those people or 1 of those people has the chance to go to the hospital and come back out, maybe that'll change the way they look at it. Maybe they'll start pursuing other options for help. I'm happy to see it everywhere. I'd like to see all of the police in Canada carrying it, all of the hospitals, all of everybody. Everybody should have one in their purse. You never know when you might have to use it.
To learn more about harm reduction within opioid use, please speak with your pharmacist or healthcare professional.